I've had the week from hell at work this week, and now it's the weekend, and I thought, what better thing to do after a week like that than to come out for a bit of photography with one of your best mates. That just there, I don't know if you can make it out, is the famous lone tree of Buttermere. One of the most iconic shots in the whole of the Lake District, and really popular with photographers. And we've already had a few of us here this morning kind of queuing up, but I was here first.
Hey, get it!
Rush!
On press!
No! It was pretty windy when we first arrived, but that's really sort of calmed down now, so we can do a few long exposures. The problem with doing the long exposure when it was really windy was the tree was moving, and I was concerned that we'd have to do 2 exposures and blend them together, one for the sky and one for the water. But fortunately, now that the wind's dropped, I think that's going to be the case. So I think that was a pretty good start to the day. It's very difficult to add anything to this shot of the lone tree. It's been photographed so many times, and when you've got clear skies and no reflections at all, you're going to really struggle. So time to pack up the gear, and we're going to head down to the other end of the lake, and there's a couple of shots down there that I want to try and get today.
I'll let you go, just need some time. At your own pace, you need to find your way. I know now you'll never change your mind for something that matters to me. You do not know what I have in mind.
I knew this was going to happen when I came out with James today. James and I have a kind of fundamental disagreement about our approach to photography. It's quite easy to think that the two of us are very similar. We both love landscape photography, we're of similar age, and we both love the Lake District, but our approach to photography is actually very different. James likes to focus on light, and he likes to build his compositions around light, and I am the exact opposite. I like to find a good composition and then keep coming back time and time again until I get the right kind of light. And I knew what was going to happen today. We are wandering along, and I have spotted some beautiful light on the other side of the lake and stopped to take a photo of it. Now, the only problem that I've got really with this shot is because I'm shooting across the lake and there are no reflections as such, I want to include a little bit of foreground interest for a change, and so I've got this patch of reeds here just on the edge of the shore, but unfortunately they're in shadow, and so this shot will only really work if I can lift enough detail out of those shadows to make it balanced. Actually, scratch that, the sun is just starting to peek through the trees now, and I think we're going to get some light on these reeds here, and so if we just wait a little bit longer, we might get a really, really good shot here.
I packed our bags, we'll be on our way. The night was long as I waited without a sign. A sign of what matters.
As is often the way when I'm out shooting these videos, I was just filming a little bit of B-roll while I was waiting for the light to develop, and I spotted a composition that I like even more. It's a little bit of a variation on the one I'm shooting now, so I'm going to grab that as well. And of the 2 shots, let me know which one you think is the best.
Just like the lottery, I just hope we could stay together. We wait and see. The chances are small, just like the lottery.
I think I prefer the second shot. The reason I prefer it over the first shot is because the reeds don't cut into the reflections of the mountains in the distance. And that's very similar to this shot that I took of the lone tree at Otterfield. A lot of you guys commented on that shot saying that it would have been much better if I'd have set my tripod lower and the tree wouldn't have cut into the mountains in the background. We've made it round to the other end of the lake now, and we were going to shoot the trees that run along the foot of Fleetwhip Pike, but unfortunately the sun's come up and we're going to be shooting directly into the sun. And I don't know about James, but for me, my skills as a photographer wouldn't allow me to get a shot that I would be happy with here. So we're going to move on a little bit, because James has got a good idea about trying to shoot these trees at an angle so that they're kind of lit from the side. Now this light might not be very good for photography, but it is brilliant for the soul, and I can already feel the stresses of the week just melting away. This is Peggy's Bridge, and this is the third shot that I had in mind for today. But as you can see, now that I'm here, we're completely in the shadow of Haystacks. And so I think this is probably a shot to save for another time. You didn't think I was going to leave it there, did you? This is the unnamed tarn, just close to the summit of Campbell's. James and I have climbed up here. We were joined by another YouTube photographer who you might know, Mali Davies. It is blowing an absolute gale, but I did manage to get one shot to finish the day off. And I thought, what better thing to do after a week like that than to come out for a bit of photography with one of your best mates. Or James Burns.